in prison the works of Christ, he sent 2 of his disciples and said unto them, Art thou he that should come, or do we look for another? Jesus answered and said unto them, Go show John again those things which ye do hear and see. The blind receive their sight, the lame walk, the lepers are clean, the deaf hear, the dead are raised up, and the poor have the gospel preached to them. For thought today, I want to use, are you the one? Look at someone and ask them, are you the one? Are you the one? As you take your seat, say, are you the one? Are you the one? Today I want to talk about when you feel like God has forgotten you as you continue to deal with all you have going on in your life. And it looks as if God not hearing your prayer. You begin to feel as he is not on your side. You've forgotten that God is for you rather than against you. You have forgotten that no weapon shall form, shall prosper. You feel like God just looking and doing nothing to help you. But what we need to know that in those times is God is making plans to give us a testimony. Not knowing. In those times when it seems like God's not doing anything, we got to know that he's making plans to give us a testimony like no other. But I will admit that in those times, it's hard to handle. Those feelings that looks like God isn't doing anything. When it's out of our hands and there's nothing you can do or say to change whatever situation is before you. Yes. This must have been how John the Baptist felt when he was in prison. When it looked as Jesus wasn't doing anything on his behalf. While he was sitting in prison, the same John, that said like a year earlier, he that comes after me is truly before me, that I'm not worthy to lace his shoes. It's the same John that when Jesus came to him to be baptized, pushed back and said, I'm in need of you to baptize me. And you coming to me to be baptized? Yeah. But John knew that Jesus was the Son of God, the one that taketh away the sins of the world. John knew all of that. Yeah. John knew all of that. I agree. And now he faced a situation like never before. And now he's wondering, are you the one? Yeah. Have you ever faced a situation that made you think about, is God who he said he was? Can he do who he said? Can you believe for it? Mm-hmm. Can he do what he's famous for in your life? Man. This is what we see. John knew that he was a forerunner for Christ. But in Matthew 11, a year and a half later, we see the same man who was so sure who Jesus was a little while ago, now sitting in prison asking the question, are you the one? See, we see John sitting on the floor of a prison cell, looking through bars that he might thought he would never be looking through. How many of us have been in situations that we thought we never would have been looking through? dealing with in this time of our life. Thinking what John said. See, we think it, but we don't say it. Are you who you said you are? As you look at your situation thinking, how did I end up like this? She said, this is what I'm going to get it together. I'm going to get it together. Because this message really touched me. I don't know if it touched nobody else, but this message really is for me. And I hope you don't have to ever be in a situation that you have to ask, is you the one? Did you have to wait and see is God going to do what he's famous for you? See, if you ain't never have to be in a situation that's out of your hand, when I say when you can't do anything, when you just standing there, you have to see will God do what he's famous for? When you have to believe for a miracle? Because can no doctors, can nobody do nothing for you? Then this message gonna make you, this message will touch your heart. But until you go through certain things, a message like this does nothing for you. So this is the kind of message that you need to put in your memoir, that you need to put to the side. Because believe me, you, one day, you're going to ask a question, are you the one? We danced to this song called Famous For It. And I remember the first time that I came out of my coma, I played this song for a nurse. And she said, this is what I'm waiting for in your life, for God to do what he's famous for. She said, I believe. Didn't know that I was going to have to go back on life support 3 more times. They're going to have to paralyze me 3 more times. They're going to put me in a coma 3 more. She didn't know that. But she said, I believe it for God to do what he's famous for right now in your life. I could talk. I was happy. I was smiling. Didn't know that I would really have to ask that question. When you land and you can't move. When you land and you can't talk. And I ask God, are you who you said you were? Can you do for me what you've done for so many others?
Amen.
God, I really need you right now to do what you're famous for in my life, because I don't see no way out of this. And because it didn't happen when I asked, I started making other plans on how to live without these things. So I can't imagine John sitting in prison, a place that he thought he'd never end up. But so many of us are in situations right now that we thought we'd never be in. But this is where we find ourselves, where God can do what he's famous for. So many of us, these last few years, have lost loved ones that we feel was taken too soon. Some without us even get a chance to say our proper goodbyes. Some that we lost over the last few years to COVID that we couldn't even give a great homecoming to. We just had to see it through videos. So many people that left and went on to glory and couldn't even get a home going. Couldn't even get people to come into the funeral. Couldn't even get people to come and sit by the bedside as they took their last breath. They haven't taken it along. Can you do what you're praying for? Are you the one that understands? So many people that are lost, and we sit here because you ain't been through it. You can't get it.
That's right, Bishop.
Are you the one? I should be looking for another. John said, I'm in prison and I hear all the works that you are doing the miracles, the blind see, the dead lifted, the blind walking, the deaf here. But I sit here looking through bars. Are you who you said you are? John believed when he was all on the outside. He believed when he wasn't going through. It's easy to believe in God when ain't nothing coming to your doorstep. When ain't nothing knocking on your door. It's easy to believe when everybody healthy. But when you face with something that can nobody do anything about. Can you believe for it? But right here we stand, looking at destiny in the face without knowing what the end truly going to look like. But like John, sitting in prison, the Bible says he was hearing the works of Christ elsewhere.
Yes.
He was hearing about the people being healed. He was hearing about the lame. He was hearing about all these things while sitting in prison.
Yes.
Miracles are being taken place all around him, but yet and still he continued to sit in prison. Like many of us sitting in here today, with all our problems standing before us.
Come on. Yes, Lord. Yes.
While it looks like so many are getting blessed out of the same problem that we are in. And we sitting, waiting, looking at our problems after problem, piling up before our very face, while others are getting blessed of the same sickness that we are in.
Yes.
Others getting financial blessings.
Yes, sir.
When I'm still trying to make ends meet.
Come on. Come on.
Others are getting healed
Yes.
Come on.
of this and that. And I'm steady going back and forth to the doctor, and the doctors can't tell me nothing yet. The doctors can't do nothing. But others that had cancer, others that had this sickness, others that had diabetes, others that had a stroke, others that had a heart attack, and they're doing just fine right now. But I'm still suffering.
Come on.
Yes.
Come on now. Come on. Yes.
Are you the one? Or should I look for another?
My God.
How come is this that everybody is dealing with a situation close to mine, similar to mine, seem to be being blessed, but me,
Yes, sir.
I'm steady going through. Other folks' children that came into the ministry,
Yes.
doing all right in church and in school and on jobs, getting promotion. But God, I pray every night. I pay my tithes, I come to church like I'm supposed to, and my kids are still
Come on.
doing whatever. Are you he that's coming?
My.
Or should I look for another? So as you come to church with so many things going wrong in your life, it can have you feeling and questioning your faith. Asking as John did, are you the one? Or should I put my faith somewhere else? John didn't do anything wrong. In fact, he was doing everything right. That's how he ended up in prison in the first place. You might not have been the best husband or wife. There is. But you have been doing the best to your ability. You've been doing all you can do. But yet and still, you sit in the midst of a marriage that needs help. Trying to get that fire started back.
Come on, Bishop.
Trying to rekindle your marriage. Trying to get the love back. And the funny thing about it, you don't even know how you got to this point in your marriage. You're not the best parents, but you're doing all you can do. You're doing all that you know to do to raise your children the right way. Now your children are living a life that not in the way that you raised them. But here you stand in a situation, thinking, looking, after praying for years with no change. God, are you the one? Or am I wasting my time? Coming and giving all my time to the church every Sunday to what looked like no return in my soul.
My.
This is a real message.
Yes, it
Yes.
is.
I'm here to talk to someone today. I don't know what all you've been going through in your life, but have you ever sat down with someone who don't have any hope left to fight?
My God.
Have any fight left to believe that anything can change in their life? Have you ever sit down with someone that they lost all hope, that don't even have the words. See, you can go through a situation so hard in your life that you won't even have the words to pray.
That's right.
You can't even find the words to pray. And I thank God for those notes that y'all sent me in the hospital, because I was going through it and I know to pray, but I couldn't pray.
That's right. Amen.
Because I didn't get it up. I lost hope because of my situation.
My.
I thank God that some of y'all wrote prayers, and I can read y'all prayers right off the pages.
Amen. Hey.
To give me hope and to believe it's going to be all right. If it's not all right physically, it's all right spiritually.
Yes, Lord.
Yes.
I had hope again that absent for the body means present with the Lord. And I had made my mind, I'm ready to meet him. I'm ready to see him. I'm ready to rejoice with him. Have you ever sat with someone who have lost a child? Not even a child that been born, not even a child that after age, but a child that didn't even get a chance to take a breath in this earth. Miscarriage after miscarriage. And you sit there and you have to talk to them. Someone that lost a baby. Someone that lost a teenager. A 6-year-old. An 8-year-old. It doesn't matter the age. A child is a child. Have you ever had to sit down and talk to them? Hope can leave quick in certain situations. Hope can leave quick in certain situations. Hope can just leave, just vanish. The young lady that went to school, talking to her one day, the next day she's gone. And you had to sit and talk to the parents. This message is hard, and I might hurt people's feelings, but it's worth it. I remember sitting in my dead grandmother's house with my parents. Thinking back now, I see that they went to a place of death to tell me about a death. And they sit to tell me that they were going to get a divorce after 24 years. And at the time, my mom didn't have no idea how to live on her own. Never paid bills, never lived as an independent person. They did a segment on 2020 back in the 90s on women that was taken, got married at a young age, moved from their parent house straight into a marriage situation, and never got a chance to live independent, never learned the basic ability to pay and do things. And then all those women that none of them could successfully sustain and live without their husband, because they had no understanding on what to do. And I remember now, and I didn't understand then why it was so hard for my mother. I know my aunties, they all jumped in and pitched in and showing her how to pay bills. Like, she don't know how to pay bills? And showing her all the things that she needed to do. She had my sister, which is Bridget, and she was like 12 years old at the time, and she don't know what to do. And they had to move from one town to the next town and trying to get things situated. And I was doing all I knew to do to help.
Come on.
I didn't have no background in ministry. I didn't understand God. I didn't even know who God was.
Right. Come on now. Come on.
I didn't have no understanding. All I know is from this point on, everybody I meet gonna feel pain. So I went and bought guns and everything, and I was defending it. If you say something crazy, I'm shooting you. I'm doing whatever it takes to make everybody feel like I was feeling. Did nobody come to me and try to encourage me, try to talk to me? They let me figure it all out. It took me years.
Yes.
God, have your way.
Yes.
I didn't talk about the things I did. My cousin said back there, I wasn't no good. I was sold drugs. I did shooting at people, fighting people, talking about everybody. All I knew to do is bring pain to every single person I came in contact with. Didn't nobody pull me to the side, talk to me, let me know that they got me, they with me, they can show me some things.
Come on now.
Love me. Didn't nobody care about me.
Come on. Say where it's little.
Have you ever been in a situation that you need somebody and nobody show up?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So many times.
Thank you, God. For the living.
Nobody want to show up for you because everybody living their life.
Right.
Now you got to learn to live.
Yes. That's today.
You got to learn to live. I want you to know that as you go through whatever you are facing, God sees you. It might feel as you marching around your own walls of Jericho. I want you to know God sees every step that you take.
My God.
And every step that you take around this wall is going to make you stronger for your next season.
Yes.
As I look at what John asked, art thou he that should come, or should we look for another? In this day and time, people can and will catch an attitude with you
Yep.
for questions,
Yep.
questioning what they can do. Is somebody doing something for you? Don't matter what it is, whether they're fixing your hair, whether they're working on your car, whatever they're doing for you, you question them and you ask them, do you know what they're doing? They'll catch an attitude with you.
Right.
People these days are so quick to catch an attitude
Yes,
when you
sir.
question them. And sometimes you're not questioning their ability, you question them for knowledge.
Talk to you. Get mad.
You question for knowledge.
Why?
Jesus didn't get mad. He didn't rebuke John. Jesus gave John grace because just like John, our reality can change in an instant. Did you know your reality can change in an instant?
My God.
You can be okay right now, and something can happen in the next second, can change your whole life.
My God.
Something can happen in 1 second later, can change your whole life. Your reality can change in an instant.
Yes, it can. My God.
And when our reality changes in an instant, this is true talk here, y'all. When your reality changes in an instant, we have no idea what we're going to do or what we might say.
Yep.
When your reality changes, you don't know how you're going to act. You can be prayed up and the flow up, and you still may say some things that's out of line.
Amen.
If your reality changed in an instant. This is why it should go. This is why it should be so great. If the people of God, the church would give others grace that they would want.
Yes.
The grace that God gives us.
Yeah.
So when people make a mistake, we don't give them no grace.
No.
When our reality changed because there have, look here, let me tell y'all something. There only been one that was ever able to say, he without sin cast the first stone. And there only gonna ever be one that had the right to cast that first stone. And you know what he did? He chose not to cast it.
Yeah.
But every chance we get, we cast a stone. Every time somebody make a mistake, we don't give them grace, we talk about it. We get mad at them, we judge them, we do all this. Can you give somebody the grace that you would want? As I said, drop those stones. And to be honest, we have so little grace to give to our brothers and sisters that is wrestling with changes in their life. Not because God had changed, but their situation had changed without warning. So I just want to say, if you have anyone you know that situation have changed without warning, I'm asking you that you don't cast a stone at them, don't rebuke them, for asking a question why, but show them a little grace. Show them a little mercy. While they try and figure out what they need to do while walking around that wall of Jericho. That had showed up in their life. That had caused them to slip up, to struggle a little bit with their faith. It's now, that's why we have questions about. See, a lot of times when you start going through things, you'll start questioning about it. People that got rooted in the Bible, they start questioning why God said this, why God, and then we get mad. Wherever the Bible said, no, have a little grace with them.
That's right.
You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they're facing.
Yeah.
So it's all right to ask questions. Let me tell y'all something. We get upset when people start asking questions. But if you read your Bible, there are many prophets, many people in the Bible who question God. Well, I mean, Habakkuk. He said, God, how long are you going to sit here and let this stuff go on? Right. I think about our city now. Every other week we're hearing about somebody getting killed. How long? Habakkuk said, God, don't you see this violence? How long are you going to let this violence go on in our nation? We crying out that thing right now. With all the killing and everything, every week we hearing somebody. Every weekend it seems like something happening. And we're like, God, do you not see this happening? How long are you going to let this happen in our city? I think about Job. Job questioning. Why have you allowed this much pain, this much hurt come into my life? Lost all my kids in one day. Lost all my money. Everything I own. Yes. All in one day. It may never losing a loved one. But think about it. If you lost all your loved ones, your place to live, your means to make ends, make money, you lost your vehicle, your house, your job, your ability to walk again. Now you're sick, so you can't go to work nowhere else. You ain't got no insurance, so you can't go to the hospital. Because you can't get there because everybody you love and died. So can't nobody take you, and you live miles outside of the city. No phone, no nothing. Because your car, everything gone. You lay out there on the ground. Can't move.
Jesus.
Then one person left in your life gonna tell you to cuss God and die. The one person that you can depend on tell you to curse God and die. Now you got to say something to this person. And what you say next determines how you get treated. Job was so smart. Job said, you talk ass. He didn't call it no fool, did he? So you talk ass, a foolish woman. Do I know that God gives and takes? Sometimes it's how you talk to a person in the midst of a situation. I know this person that hurt your feelings. I know this person that did you wrong. But how you respond to them can touch their heart, make them change their mind. From that point on, you ain't heard her talk crazy no more. She turned around, she helped her husband. She even let their friends come over and sit down and talk to them for a while. Then they had some more kids. Ain't that something? Ain't that all right?
That's all right.
Because you gotta realize that she was going through everything that he was going through. She out there in the country too. What she gonna do? Carry him? She's like, I can't carry you. No, 25 miles to the hospital. How many got? Some people, nobody really come visit them. Some people don't even come visit. They come to their house. All the time you see people when you out, come to church, go to work. If you didn't see them then, they wouldn't stop by your house. They do every blue moon, right? So how long will it be for somebody to come and check on you? Especially then, they didn't even have phones. You ain't no telling when somebody's going to come out there. So you got to be careful. When people come to you with a situation, how you talk to them. Y'all know y'all like, this ain't what I want to hear today. Gideon questioned God. He said, oh Lord, if you be God, why have all this happened in our life? And then he said, God, if you be God, well, where are all the miracles you did for our forefathers? Where are all the things you did that you were famous for? Where are all the healings at now? Where are all the blessings at now? Where are the part of the Red Sea? Why this person ain't being raised up? Why this person ain't been delivered? Why this ain't happening in our life? You did all this for them, and we are the same people. We serve the same God. Where's your miracles at right now? Why my child is still sick? Why my child can't come to the ministry? Why this happened to my mother? Why this happened to my father? Why this happened to my job? If you be God, let me Gideon say, if you be the Lord, why is all this happening?
Why, Lord?
Are you the one?
Lord.
Are you the one? Or should we look for another? So I want to let you know something today. And that if you ask a question, then keep on asking God. Because he hears you. And believe me, he will answer you. The Bible tells us in 1 Corinthians 13:12, it says, for we now see through a glass darkly, but when face to face, now I know in part, but then shall I know, as also I am known. What he was saying is this right here. I compare this to an ocean. Some of y'all ain't never been to a beach, and some of y'all have been to a beach. But God is like an ocean. See, the Bible said that we look through a glass darkly, right? I mean, we don't know everything. We don't know all the mystery of the Lord, right? The ocean is so big and so vast that marine and ocean biographies haven't even scratched the surface of the creatures in the parts of the ocean. They said 80% of the ocean have not even been mapped out.
Wow.
Only 9% of the creatures in the ocean have been named. 9%. That means there's still 91% more creatures out there that we have no idea that lives in the ocean because it's just that big. Remember, God is so big that we ain't tapped into what all he can do, what all he knows.
That's right.
But there's something about the ocean that we do know. If you ever go to it, if you stick your foot in it, you know it's wet, right?
Yeah.
If you stand beside it and the waves brush up against you, you know it's powerful.
Yeah.
And if you're out there trying to swim in and get in your mouth, you know it's what? Salty. Just like our God. We know that the Bible says, taste and see that the Lord is good. We heard today that even his words is like honeycomb. Pleasant. To the bone and the soul. We know how powerful he is because of the thing that he has done.
Yes, Lord.
But there's still some things that we have no idea about God. So when you're going through whatever it is, he's able. It's some things that you're going to face that nobody else faces, but he's able. There's some things you're going to deal with that you never dealt before, but he's able. That's what you got to know about our God. It's something else we know about our God. Guess what? He has a plan for us. Jeremiah tells that the plan he has is not of evil, but of peace. To give us a expected end. We know he has a plan for each and every last one of us. Some of us don't even got a plan for our life, but God does. Some of us don't know what we're going to do when we go to this area or to that area, but God does. So even though we don't know everything about our God, we do know that he would never leave us or forsake us. Yeah, we might struggle to understand why certain things come into our life. We know that we can ask questions. Now, the answer God gives us may not be what we expected, but like John, he would answer us.
My God. Yes, indeed.
And when he answered, he told them, the disciples, go back and tell him the things you heard. Tell him about the miracle that you've seen. And as I get ready to close, as I look at this passage, there are many ways Jesus could have answered John. But he sent the disciples to tell John what they have seen and heard, how they have, the blind have seen, the lame have walked, the lepers clean, the deaf heard, and the dead is risen. What God wants is for us that's strong in faith to go to the ones that are wavering a little bit, who may be struggling a little bit, and tell them what you have experienced. Tell them your testimony of what God has done for you. I'm about to close now.
My God.
When someone is going through and is struggling with their faith, telling them everything gonna be all right is okay. But if you can tell them what the Lord has done for you,
Make it personal.
you couldn't do a better answer. You can show them a better way of who God is in your life. So today,